Hey! Oh man, I got a bunch of stuff like windows popping up all over the place. But hey, how's it going? My name is Justin. I looked at I think the tripod stick for a second. Um, my name is Justin, and this is 265 DangIT Productions. And hold on, I'm still trying to get my ish together right here. There we go. Let me just bring up some topics here. As you can see, just me this time around. Hoping that other people would actually show up as well. I actually saw ahead of time, so I just isolate all the mic sounds except for my own for now until someone's gonna knock on the door. That's become a really big habit. We need to curb stomp that. In the meantime, so we got a couple things going on today, and what I mean by a couple things going on, I mean a lot of show-based stuff. And I'm even talking about Netflix too. It's like, what? Justin talking about Netflix? That's weird. Oh no. Ever since I watched the Castlevania Netflix series, I was like hooked. I mean obviously like there were like live action shows and whatnot, and I was like, I'm okay with that. For some reason I can never really sit down with those because they're just so long. And then I watched the Castlevania animation series and I was like, ooh. Oh yeah, live core concept. Shit, I forgot about that. Apologize, Jacory. I'm not sure if it was you who asked about that. I don't have that ready. I didn't have time to prepare for that. So no, we are not gonna have that. I was forgetting about something, and then also all the stuff was just happening like in the background as well. So I'll just make like myself like a reminder, like later. Although I think I'm pretty booked on the next couple weekends because next weekend's going to be a surprise thing. I won't really talk about that in detail at all, if that does happen. And then the weekend following after that is Comic-Con, so I'll just be there. And I'm not sure if that's a good place to do queer concepts because I don't know what the living situation is going to be when I actually go over there as far as the hotel and the Wi-Fi and internet and stuff like that. Yo, Vegas was like on it though. Can I just do another shout out to Las Vegas and like their hyper fast internet? Because holy shit, that was a wireless connected live stream on a laptop. So again, apologize to Jacory Brown. There is no live queer concept that's happening today. People, and man, this is crazy because I'll bring up this that people have still been posting like comments on the OG queer concept video, and it's astounding, which is why we most certainly will have to make another live or another queer concept, whether it be live stream or a regular video. We'll figure that out. Maybe I should get like a little preview video though, just to get people hyped up. It's like, hey, start posting stuff now. Well, not live queer concept, but a queer concept part 3 from Quirk Ideas from 1 and 2. Right. That's what I meant. If we were going to do a live queer concept, I would literally just do a live stream of which I've gathered all of the comments together from, well, the new comments as of queer concept episode or part 2. So I'll be working on that. But unfortunately, I haven't gone around to actually gathering them because just didn't really have time or the thought to even think about that. Lots of stuff's been happening. I've been trying to deal with work. Work has been kind of work's been work, and it's a nice job right now, but it's also kind of stressful because I'm used to knowing everything, and now that I'm kind of back to square one with this new job, it's kind of intimidating, overwhelming, stressful, scary. All the other adjectives are not so positive, but I'll get there. The main key, if there's any takeaway from me just like talking your ears off about like how much work can be stressful, is that eventually you get somewhere good. Like if you have the strive to improve, then the results will show over time. So going into the topics today, I wanted to bring out like a shout out to Ruby Volume 7 actually being announced. Not sure if you're really quite interested in this, but yeah, they showed. I guess I didn't really watch like any kind of live stream or panel or anything like that, but it showed up like like as part of like some news feed showing that there's a promotional art showing Ruby and the gang just having new costumes. Well, I think all but Ruby. Maybe Ruby just like did something with her cape, maybe. But hey, that's really cool. It's pretty much following after what happened in Volume 6, which is them flying over to Weiss's country. So that's gonna be really interesting. It's probably the way that the tone of Volume 6 ended, for sure. Like that is pretty much gonna be the tone for the rest of it, where it's like, yay, my old stomping grounds, but then it's also like, oh no, not everyone's gonna be happy with me being back. Oh, but Rain and Blaze is also talking about Blake's short hair now. That was actually one of the new things that was being shown. I don't know. I can't really describe everyone else's like costumes as far as like the actual what's actually called, but I know that Blake has like some kind of cover like over her. I forget what those things are called. They're like, if I had to describe them, it's like, I'm not sure. I think it covers like one side of her, so it's like kind of like a half cape, half short cape. Half poncho. There we go. It's a half poncho. Why is it gotten a long ponytail now? If I recall, she's kind of always had something like that, but this one is kind of crazy. If I recall, that's kind of like a really curly one. Give me a second. I won't really pull it up because you can probably like look that up yourselves. But let's see. Oh shoot! Like of course they would not show that bit. Actually, yeah, her ponytail is like, it's kind of, I wouldn't say it's like super braided, but it is braided in a way. So that's nuts. Actually, you know, with Ruby, I'm not sure if it's because of the shading or anything, but it kind of reminds me of her like secondary costume from Volume 2 when she was just kind of going out casually, but it's also mixed in with Volume 4's costume, so that's interesting. But hey, I look forward to it. In the meantime, for everyone else, I recommend that everyone watch the YouTubers Jello Apocalypse. So this is basically Ruby, because it's really just a punch in the gut in every single fashion, because we all deserve that, including Ruby. Sadly, I've been actually watching a lot of reactions to that, mainly because I want to see like a hardcore Ruby fan just get heated by that video. And the only one that I got close to that, because a lot of them are actually pretty open to it, there's one person who actually tried to defend it, where it's like, the only remark was, no, and that was it. But hey, everyone else is a pretty good sport about knocking out Ruby, because it did come from humble origins, and Monty, of course, still being ahead of his time. Damn, it's just that they weren't really backed up with a budget. But hey, it just goes to show that even, and also like, what was it, the manga author One, he also showed that even if the execution isn't that great, the concept is all it's about, right? As long as you can kind of get your thoughts across, then someone's going to pick it up down the line that might be better at handling the other portions that you may not be great at. Do you think Atlas will fall or drop to the planet during the season's end fight? Now, that's an interesting question. I will talk a little bit more about Ruby as far as like that like shot of like them looking at Atlas and how it's kind of levitating off the ground, but it's also chained down just to make sure it doesn't like drift away. Unfortunately, there's no substance that I've seen that would tell me that there'd be some kind of power that would actually bring the entire thing down, unless the characters have like a big fight and they have to forcibly brings it down as collateral damage. But otherwise, like, I would assume that maybe there's something underneath Atlas that is it's probably like a lot of dust. That's probably what it is. But any case, I also want to bring up 2 new shows that came out recently for the summer season, and probably one that hasn't really been openly accessible for me. These two though are Fire Force and Dr. Stone. Both of which are kind of like a shonen-esque. I think Fire Force is much more like that. I don't know much about Dr. Stone, but I haven't watched those, and I do want to watch them, and I kind of want to make a video just kind of like watching it. I mean, maybe not like in full or anything like that, but just a first take, an impression. And so I actually really do look forward to these two. The other one that isn't really openly accessible, it's actually open through Funimation, but you need a premium account to watch it right now is it's pretty much a workout anime, and it's adapted from manga that really actually goes in depth about like certain like aspects of working out, like certain techniques that you have to follow and everything like that. And really, TLDR, it's just about high school girls trying to work out at a gym. That's really much what that anime is. But I also think that the idea of like an anime about like working out, I'm sold. In fact, I could use something like that, because over here at the gym, not even knowing all the techniques I should do, and that's kind of like one of my biggest issues actually, is going to the gym, and even though maybe I've done some research here and there beforehand, I still don't know every single like technique that I could use to better like a certain area of my body. Like, I don't know that many like core exercises, and I need that in order to actually build a stronger core and like eventually develop abs faster or efficiently. So it sucks, but hopefully I can do more research on that. That was kind of like catering a little bit towards my own personal life. I'll work on that later. But anything else? Oh yeah, I'll jump into one of those topics later, but another one is actually that came out earlier this week, which was Netflix showcasing a little bit of artwork for The Witcher. And if you want to know if you want to know more about the Witcher series, you're talking to the wrong person. But I'm pretty sure if you watch that series, you'll get to know. But other people have actually played The Witcher before, in games before. Tyrone is asking, I think, yeah, okay. I will call you Tyrone. Miranda's still modeling? Well, first of all, welcome, Tyrone. And second of all, that was kind of a shot in the dark type of question. And 3, I have no idea. No, actually, I'm not sure if Miranda does that in her spare time, but she's working like an actual job. I shouldn't say that. I should not say that, because modeling is a respectable profession as well. Maybe like side job, I don't know. She'd have to be here for me to ask about that, because she's totally removed all social media. Well, actually, the fact that she removes all social media probably means that she's not modeling. Because I feel that when you do something like that type of position, like it would benefit you more if you actually had like something like an Instagram or a Twitter that you would like constantly post. Yes, it's pronounced Tyrone. Sorry, it just came across badly, but great to see you guys are back. I would say the same, but it's just me right now. But we'll see. I could have sworn that maybe Gabe at least would show up, and then Miranda and Toe would be, but we're just sticking with me for now. So where was I guess you can understand where she's coming from. Yeah, like right now, Miranda is very unique. I'm her friend, but I still don't really know everything that goes into her mind as far as like what she wants to do. I think right now she kind of wants more stability, so she has like her job that she's been working on right now, and that's really super cool. But as far as like side jobs, like modeling and everything like that, I couldn't tell you. But I know that she did try doing that though. I remember Gabe like telling me about that. But what was I talking about? The Witcher? Oh yeah, Henry Cavill. So I respect this man, Henry Cavill, as like he really looked like Superman in Man of Steel, and then I remember he had like he probably had multiple roles following afterwards, but another notable one was just some side villain character thug in like one of the Mission Impossible movies, where he put up his dukes. Also, you see the Volume 7 poster. We did just talk about Ruby Volume 7. I never did talk about that. I did like the aesthetics of the poster, and I've never had an issue with the aesthetics of the Ruby posters, except for Volume 1, because that was kind of like a basic like format, but I didn't complain because that was just, from like humble origins. So I was totally fine with how it was back then, and I have no doubts about like how good it's always going to be from here on. They just need to work on that story and those characters, man. Once we get those fixed, they're good. Because I see that animation, I see that fighting animation, and that's really, really clean. And the music's good. Music is really good. Although I kind of wonder if they'll ever like span out to like different like volume tracks and different song artists. It's not that I wanted to hear the Williams again, but I kind of want to hear someone else. But Henry Cavill filling in the role for The Witcher. He looks like a younger Geralt, and I don't know how I feel about that because I've never played the other Witcher games, but I'm just used to the older one from 3. So, and also just like Henry Cavill, like in that wig, kind of looks like Legolas. So I don't know how I feel about that. But yeah, I was hoping that other people could chime in for what was it, The Witcher. But all I could tell you is that I tried playing Witcher 3, and I'm surprised that it's been announced for a Switch, and I'm very concerned about the Switch console trying to handle The Witcher, because original Xbox One took a good amount of time as far as like loading times each time you died, especially if you wanted to go on a higher difficulty. In any case, I don't know if I'll be following the Witcher series obsessively. Not obsessively, no. What's dedicatedly? Lack of better words. But that's also there as well. Just to recap, Tyrone, I remember that Raina Blaze was asking like my thoughts about what would happen to Atlas if it were to fall down to the planet at the end of the season's fight, and I couldn't tell you because there was not a lot about Atlas that I know. I still stand by the idea that they should have added the background like context of everything in the Ruby main series instead of like a side series, the World of Remnant. Like that's cool and all, but you really should have just kept that for the main series, okay? But okay, now we're gonna hit to the last main topic that I got going on, which is Far From Home. Now, full disclosure, during the movie, there was the California earthquake, so everyone else was freaking out. Some people were leaving the room, some people stayed there. I was one of the people who stayed there. At the end of the day, we were fine, but I was also really mad during the earthquake because I actually thought that I'd actually have to leave the theater room because of this movie, and I wasn't gonna have that, but we're fine. But thoughts on Far From Home without actually going into Far From Home, because I want to save that for a separate video. It's actually really good. It's actually better than you would ever expect from the sequel, and also a film following from Endgame's like ending, which is Endgame itself is a brilliant movie. The fact that Far From Home can stand on its own 2 feet it speaks miles to me. But yeah, I think that is pretty much it. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not gonna end the podcast here. That'd be nuts. But I should probably come up with something else to talk about. So, Mario Maker. So Mario Maker's been one of those games I've been like playing on and off before, and I haven't really touched Stage Builder or Course Maker because I just haven't really had the time to really create something. And I also really wanted to get more of the items that you apparently unlock throughout the game. So I've been playing the story mode, and that's been taking me a while, just playing on and off. And I'm hoping for the best as far as getting the exact thing I want. I found out there's this poisonous mushroom that I think you could maybe spawn, and it just follows you around. Instead of like the poisonous shrooms that would just mimic a mushroom but just like shrink you, this one actually just follows you. So I want to do something kind of crazy with that one, where it's like, oh, this is like relentless. They showed it in the story mode, but I wanted to like add another layer to it. Let's see. Tyrone's saying rage quit for dummies. Not quite. I'm not gonna make a habit of it, as if people were to like were just make random remarks and stuff like that, and I have to kind of search through everything, then we would get kind of nowhere. But okay, I'll let you elaborate on that. But okay, so oh yeah, I already excuse me. Oh yeah, that is what Mario Maker is. Rage quit for dummies. Oh, I see what you mean. Okay. I think. Well, I mean, they kind of made it a little bit better as far as like the filtering and everything like that. But I don't know. I've never really like constructed like a troll level, so I couldn't really tell you for sure like exactly what the little tiny intricacies, such as like invisible blocks or anything like that. And I've kind of noticed that if you're a really good game designer, then you can make some really good levels. If you're not, then you might end up with a lot of these troll levels that will just kind of do that. And also just kind of some really interesting experiences when you jump to levels. I remember I jumped into one that was pretty much seeing people play on Twitch, and it's impossible. Oh yeah, for sure. There's definitely ones that require so much finesse, but it's a lot of trial and error. That's kind of what the issue with some of these levels are. There was one level that I wanted to talk about, which was it was just the whole concept was you have to have Mario have one coin. Spare this boy a coin because pasta is much more expensive than he thought. Can you help a brother out? And literally, it's set up so you will see all the coins in the world just like in the space, but you have no access to them whatsoever. And they'll try to bait you into a lot of them. But essentially, it ends up with you going face to face with a bullet bill, only to like meet up with invisible question mark box that gives you the coin, the singular coin, for you to pass through the level. And it's just a troll level within itself. So mean, so rude. How can you do it to a boy whose main occupation is being a plumber? But yeah, I still think that Mario Maker is still a great game as far as like the mileage. You can make like so many levels, and the fact that it's totally accessible for a lot of streamers who want to play levels that fans create, or maybe fans want to see a certain level being played or something like that. So I still say it's a really good game. I haven't played Tomb Raider. I know that one of my main focuses right now on Twitch is to play through the Rise of the Tomb Raider, or it's Rise of the Tomb Raider. So that's kind of what I've been focusing on, just to finish that game, because that game needs to be finished. And any other game that I've singularly purchased needs to be finished as well. And then after that, it's just kind of like Let's Plays of other things as well. Let me close that tab up there. Damn, it sucks that I don't have a lot of people. There's not really much for me to talk about. I even talked about the earthquake business. Although I guess what I can elaborate on is the fact that, when July 4th earthquake hit, I was like, okay, this is kind of whatever. Like where I was just like at my desk, and I was just all of a sudden like I was leaning against my desk, and then everything just started shaking, and I was like, what the hell's wrong with me? So I take my entire body off, and I noticed like I hear the subtleness of like the desk actually moving, and I started to see everything else moving, and I was like, oh, this is an earthquake. And I did go talk to my dad, and it's like, hey dad, it was an earthquake. And he's like, yeah, everything was kind of shaking a little bit, and it was no big deal. I mean, like, us people from like California just kind of like look at like a shake, and we're just like, it's whatever. And then the day after, when I'm watching the Spider-Man movie in the theater, That's when I feel the shaking, and I'm like, oh no. I feel another shake. And I see my friend Christoph on the side, and he's like looking to me. He's looking back to his I think it was his brother. And he's like looking back. He's looking around, and I was like, just calm down. Nothing's happening. And you see everyone else like get up and like walk out the theater. I'm like, no, nothing is happening. Nothing is happening. And eventually everything calms down. And I was like, whew, okay, I can finish this movie. Tyrone was saying, I felt my first earthquake earlier this year. I was horrified. It is a scary thing, isn't it? Like you wouldn't expect it. Like you're just sitting like on normal steady ground, and all of a sudden everything shakes. And you don't know why. But yeah. So I think the second earthquake from yesterday was definitely a wake up call to me, because honestly, I just didn't really give a crap about a lot of like these earthquakes happening. And way back when they talked about the big one coming in, and I was like, yeah. Well, I mean, it's either coming like the next minute, or it's gonna come out like the next 100 years, so or 1,000. So it's like I don't even need to worry about it. But the fact that there have been 2 earthquakes, and granted, they coined July 4th earthquake as the foreshock, and this one as the main one. And anything that's lower than 7.1 will be just like the aftershock. Listen, I've never heard of foreshock before. I've never heard of that term before. So the fact that they have to they dropped down that name, and it's like a 6.9, that's not a joke. So shortly afterward, once I had gotten all my like feelings about Spider-Man Far From Home across with my friends, and we all split our separate ways, I really thought about it, like, oh shit, this is the second earthquake, and granted, like, it's in the same area, so they are related to each other, but this is also on the San Andreas Fault, and it's where the big one's happening. And I believe what they have said before, and don't quote me on it, but obviously, like, or at least rationality, you would think that the more earthquakes that are to happen, the chances that the big one is going to happen is going to increase. So I've been stressed out last night. It's to the point where I've kind of taken a lot of my belongings and just put them in bags. I'm not really prepared yet, but essentially, if this entire place starts shaking like right now, like that, I'm not sure if you actually heard that or saw it. I would book it. Like, my car is, instead of in the garage, it's like just outside, and it's ready to go. It's not as fun and as convenient as Pokemon's Earthquake, for sure. Like, Earthquake is such a useful move, and like, if you have a Pokemon that knows that move like from the get-go when you level it up, that one's a win. You keep that Pokemon. Which is why Golem is like a pretty great one to start with, and any other rock or ground type is pretty solid. I think, doesn't Trapinch learn Earthquake? I don't know. But at that point, you might as well get Flygon. Just teach it a TM Earthquake at that point. But Flygon, I don't think is as viable as a Pokemon as he used to be. Oh, actually, I don't even think he ever was. I just like Flygon. But yeah, I think the only thing I'm missing as far as disaster preparedness is first aid. Like, just a packed in first. Well, actually, I do have first aid. It's like in a little tiny packet that was offered to me during our orientation at work, where it came to like benefits and stuff like that. But other than that, that's like a scarce amount. Dude just got a strong physical attacker, the TM. Yeah. But other than that, I need to, like, if I really want to be like prepared for like an earthquake, I'm gonna need to bring like another set of clothes or something like that, like just another pack of stuff. So I would advise anyone who lives in California, anywhere close to the fault line, yeah, just bring some emergency stuff. Like, they've shown us this in preschool. and kindergarten and elementary, they've continued to practice this drill, especially like as later on when they start announcing the big one, especially for that. And now I have to learn that. I have to apply that to everything now. So the moment that things hit, I had to hide underneath this desk. Granted, though, that didn't save all those kids in the classroom that one time, but that's still probably the best way to go. Or at least I think that was. I'm not sure if I heard that just like. No, that had to be some legitimate news. Anyway, I didn't want to bring down the mood with that, but just when something like that happens, just have a plan. Just have a plan. Walkie-talkies are an A-OK device for you to use in such an event. Extra water, extra food is good. A secondary plan or secondary house to go to, like a friend's house or something like that, that is totally unharmed. A meetup for friends and loved ones in case you get separated. That could totally happen. And just be prepared. That's all I can really like advise in the event of this. I've been wary about doing all my other things as usual, but it's one of the things where like it might happen, it might not happen. So just be prepared. And yeah. But Tyrone's saying that my room's on the second floor, so I think I'm screwed. I don't want to say anything. As long as you're prepared. You got like a fire escape, you're good. If you got a rope that's like tied to something firm and you can just go through the window, that's cool. I never had to do that in my life before, but hopefully I never have to. But anything else I really wanted to bring up? We're 30 minutes into the podcast. I need water. That's what I need. That's always the case when you're just soloing the podcast or doing live streams, actually. Again, props to people who just do solo stuff by themselves. Like, it's really tiring. It never gets old. So, things to talk about the channel. So I just uploaded the June vlog. So I don't have a link for it, but you can actually I'll bring it up like right now. But you guys check that out, as well as like our current playlisting of Human Fall Flat. We're still not completely done with that. If I can get in contact with Gabe today or tomorrow, that'd be a great thing for me to do with him. In addition to doing some Mario Maker levels, I have one level prepped for him, but that's it. But yeah, here I'll prep up the there we go. That's the link below is just the link to the vlog, so it's cool. That's an awesome doggo on that vlog, my dude. Oh my god, I love that dog. Like, her name is Bella, but she's a shelter dog, and I actually saw her yesterday, even though I filmed her June. So people, go adopt her, please. The problem with that shelter, though, is that it's packed, and because of that, the shelter has to do something, because it can't really fund itself to keep those dogs living or expand its space. So euthanization is something that does happen. So, and actually yesterday when I left the shelter, because I've talked about it before, I go to these shelters like almost every week just to feed my need, just kind of interact with dogs, because I can't take care of one because of reasons that really get me upset. But Marcus, finally here, great job. We talked about literally everything. We even talked about Fire Force and Dr. Stone. Mark, where were you? You didn't miss anything on that, by the way. I just said, like, I'm looking forward to those, and I'll make videos about those, like, later on. But funny, my dog had a puppy I called Bella. But yeah, the Bella I'm talking about is a Labrador. And Mark, if you click on that link above you, That's just the June vlog if you haven't watched that yet. Parents are the reason. Yes. Dr. Stone is great. So I'll definitely watch those too. What was I going on with? Oh yeah. So I mean, Bella, when I met her, she's a sweet dog, but she escapes a lot. She's kind of an escape artist in situations where she feels uncomfortable. But she opens up to you. Like the second time I saw her, which was yesterday, she was totally wagging her tail versus like when I saw her first time and a couple videos I've seen of her where she isn't and she's kind of shaking. So she does get open. She opens up to people, but it's still a bad situation that she hasn't been adopted yet in a place that does euthanize animals because they don't have the space for it. So, but I did talk to someone and she's part of like a Facebook group that actually saves these dogs by like either like getting the word spread out to them or having like other rescue like groups take them over or do fosters. She sounds intimidating, timid but loving. It's true. Yeah, I'm pretty sure all the dogs there can be lovable. Shelters suck. And I'm pretty sure none of them want to do that. But it's like, fuck, like we can't hold these animals. And the worst part is that there's not a lot of people like helping them out. So, I mean, word spreads out, and that helps a great deal for these animals. So I will do my best to do that on top of trying to do my dog sitting business once I actually get that started. So I'll work on that. What are your thoughts on for Fire Force and Dr. Stone? But shows definitely came out more differently than I anticipated, but it's very nice. I think that's specifically aimed towards you, Mark. Right now I haven't watched Fire Force and Dr. Stone, so I can't give you my thoughts. I'm gonna make a video about it though, so stay tuned for that one when that does come out. I'm current on Stone's manga, and I'm behind on Fire Force. Both are great. I just caught myself up on My Hero again as far as like the manga so far. It's kind of wild because you're not following the villains, and it's starting to make a little bit more sense, and the world building only betters itself when you see different perspectives. So that's good. It's really good. Good shows coming out there, especially that workout anime. I gotta watch that workout anime because I relate to it so much. Like, of course we want to snack on food all the time because food's great, but you can't be doing that all the time. Or at least rather, our main character, she needs to work out, otherwise bloop, she becomes plump, and she doesn't want that. I actually watched like someone's take on that show. It's one of those outlandish title ones, but it's like how much weight is on your dumbbell or something like that. I think that's what it's called. And this guy's actually a personal trainer, but he's also like an anime fan. So he makes these videos about comparing the lifestyles of each character and a workout routine that would fit that type of anime character, like Goku or hell, I'm pretty sure that Asta has something from Black Clover. Workout anime. I want a cameo of the Body Improvement Club, right? Because those guys are fit. Oh yeah, Mark, gonna let you know right now, just to tease you a little bit. Next week we got a little surprise as far as filming stuff, or the podcast. We'll see though. I'm not sure if it's gonna work though. Jacori was talking about just to recap with everyone here. He was talking about live quirk concept video, live stream pretty much of part 3, and we will get to that. Just not this week. I just didn't have the time to do it. But yeah, I know the exact YouTuber you're talking about. I'm pretty sure, yeah, because this guy's pretty passionate, and I like his logo and everything like that. He seems to brand himself pretty well. Also, I think I'm having problems pronouncing things or enunciating right now. Am I finally gonna be on DangIT Prodcast? No. I forgot where you live. Oh, here, welcome to DangIT Prodcast. We're in the Bermuda Triangle. We're trying to find Mark. Mark, are you over there? Oh man, what was I gonna talk about next? I don't know. This is a pretty low key, and well, actually, it's kind of been a last minute low key type video. We did talk about Far From Home. Far From Home was really great, and although I think for the sake of like progression on a podcast, maybe I shouldn't focus on trying to recap a lot of things here. So vlogs, June's available. Okay. DangIT Plays, we're still doing Human Fall Flat. We haven't been able to make a new session, so we're still going based off of the first session, and we just filmed a lot for that, so we're pretty good on ammunition there. Maybe not for the rest of the week though. So we'll need to add more things going on there. I just don't know many things about other Let's Plays. Oh yeah, Mario Maker. Of course, we can definitely get a lot of mileage from like Mario Maker for sure. So I'll be doing that. We'll do that for the channel. And then oh shit, it may not be popular. So I won't really add it to DangIT Plays, but on Twitch I'll definitely be playing. Well, actually, I don't know if I want to anchor it just to that. Yeah, maybe I'll just play that on my own time. But Fire Emblem Three Houses, I really want to play that game. Although, given my schedule, I may not be able to play it like as often. And if I were to leave it specifically to just live stream, I might lose my mind. So I think I will just have that be a thing that I just play on my own time. But I'll probably do like a DangIT Plays of that at some point, maybe. Let's see. Human Fall Flat. It's been very funny so far. I appreciate that. Thank you for the feedback. It's one of those games where I know it's gonna be really funny, but of course I want to see like some like justification or like acknowledgement of it being funny. So I'm just glad that it turned out really well so far. Gears 5 has a versus tech test on the 19th. That's wild. Well, that'd be a nice little feedback thing for me to do, like live stream or like no, just DangIT Plays. Hell, let's just make the most out of that. Tyrone saying, I really think you already spoke about this, but I wanted to onto what your thoughts and speculations and hopes for Sword and Shield. Yeah, I think I have talked about that for like one of the Pokemon Directs, but you know, it's been a while. So I think one of the biggest news about Pokemon Sword and Shield, and Tyrone, thank you for like inputting like something for me to talk about, just to expand on for this podcast. But Sword and Shield. So my thoughts on that. I know that the whole Pokedex thing was kind of a big thing, right? Like you gotta have the 700 to 800 plus Pokemon. Like, come on, like it's Pokemon's nothing without the National Dex, right? And then, was it the creator of Game Freak or just Pokemon Company in general? They were just saying that it doesn't mean that they're gonna be gone forever, and then they just left it at that. Now you think about it, like if you really want to add every single Pokemon, their 3D model, their animation, like all stored up in like a single like Switch cartridge, like hold on, I'm just everything's falling apart. Don't worry about it. Remember this guy's beefy, but if you were to fill in every single like Pokemon Pokedex in these bite-sized cartridges, ignore the fact that I can't pronounce anything today, but in these little guys, which you should never taste, yeah, that is kind of absurd if you were to try to do that, unless you had like some separate cloud-based storage, which then it becomes a little bit more complicated. I love the fact that I have them filled out now. It's great. So, oh man, actually, you know what? Since I have this out, I might as well just kind of share the ones that I have so far. Look, it's what do they call that? I keep forgetting. It's show and tell time. So right now, I think I have 7 Switch games now. A lot of them are just like the mainline first party games. So let's see. We have Smash Brothers Ultimate, Mario Deluxe U, or Super Mario Brothers U Deluxe, Super Mario Odyssey, Breath of the Wild, Super Mario Party, Mario Kart 8, and in the Switch right now is Super Mario Maker 2. So the Switch library is slowly expanding. So looking forward to that. I definitely, in the event of an earthquake, Switch needs to be the first one to be taken. Just by principle. The fact that you can take this thing on the go wherever you want. And hell, I'll drop everything. I'll forget about like the charging board, maybe the power thing, because I can just buy those separately. I just need to take my Switch console and just like start running. But that's the beauty of the Switch. It's just like the 3DS, which I have not touched in a while. 3DS was great for the games that it did have. It's just a shame that really the Switch just took over, and there's nothing you can do about that. Oh shit! But Sword and Shield, I just look forward to it. I like the fact that you have like these designated wild areas that where you can actually turn the camera, because that is something I don't think any Pokemon game is really done unless it's a side project or a side Pokemon game instead of the main series. Escape from being one of the modes you can try. National Dex is as long as it's DLC. I'm fine, but what was that? It would be salty. I'd like them to make a Switch more geared towards quality with 4K and hard drives instead of SSD card memory. I agree with that, honestly, because I know that the Switch doesn't need to really compete. It doesn't need to compete with like the consoles as far as power and everything like that. But to really just kind of enhance the experience of Switch, like the experience, and I mean obviously we have like games like Breath of the Wild and Mario Odyssey and now Mario Maker that kind of show you that you don't really need that kind of power. It does help for other things, and I just feel like if you have the power to run other things like much more aesthetic stuff and stuff like that, it doesn't really hurt per se. So I know that, yeah, Nintendo does love gimmicks, as Mark has said, but it's something they could definitely work with. Yeah, I think a much more powerful like Switch should be an option. Kind of like how we're hearing rumors about Xbox having like two different types of consoles. You have like what's the Scarlet, and then you also have Lionheart, and one is a little bit more pro like enhancement to versus like casual. So I should really just kind of lower it down to that. No, the mic doesn't need to be that high. So I would say the Switch should do the same thing too. Maybe just have, the Switch as it is, and then you also have Switch Plus. Or the new Nintendo Switch. One beefy boy and one normal boy. Although I think someone had shown like, oh excuse me, jeez, that was awful. But what was it? I think it was like a China Best Buy that was leaking like a small like grip for like a quote unquote mini Switch. So we might actually see something like that. Switch Plus. Oh no. We gotta go with the best name, which is Switch Up. and then for the micro, it needs to be Switch Off. I think the Switch Mini though is supposed to be like one that has its Joy-Cons integrated into the entire like display, so you lose your ability to actually like move it around or anything like that. Why tinier? I don't know, man. Some people just want to fit this thing in their pockets. I don't know. It's kind of like a PSP. That's exactly what it is. They're trying to be just like the PSP or the PS Vita. That's exactly what they're trying to do, but better. Like, you know what? The PS Vita is great and all, and David would vouch for that. Like, it's still a good thing. It's just that it was not marketed and it's still not being supported well, so they might as well just like Well, meanwhile, Nintendo's over here like, hey, this is some now uncharted territory. Let's just move our stuff over there. Sorry, PSP. Yeah, but here's the thing. Here's the main problem. Here's the main problem. You see the Switch here. It's flat, right? Except for these grooves right here. The triggers. That's the only issue. Now, if they found a way for you to use the triggers but remove the groove, that'd be great. And I think that's what the whole point of the meaning, because you also have like the locking mechanism right here that lets you like unlock it and everything like that. Of course, we're so used to the Switch being like how it is, but hell, I mean, remember the Nintendo 2DS? Yeah. So maybe they haven't quite learned that lesson. And what was it, the new Nintendo 2DS, which is still a really nice, sleek looking like thing, but it's just like it's kind of weird. And people still out there hating the Switch. I want a Switch on steroids. I do kind of want a stronger Switch, although I guess I don't really need it. I don't have a need for it right now. I think my Switch is fine as it is. But of course, like the more games you add up, because Switch is such a great game, especially for like the indie scene, because those games don't really require like so much power into them. So when you can take those things on the go, it's perfect. Like, like if it weren't for Hollow Knight being on Game Pass, I'd probably get that. I'd probably get Moonlighter on the Switch, because it's just like a Zelda-esque type game. Oh yeah, isn't Link's Awakening coming out in September? Man, July is a pretty good game or month for games. My Pacific favorite is gonna be Fire Emblem Three Houses, but there's still a bunch of games that are coming out later on, so I'm looking forward to it. But in any case, Mark was saying that the flaw is the lack of graphical power. Mortal Kombat 11 was breaking the Switch. It really was. Like, I remember seeing Maximilian dude. He was testing out Mortal Kombat 11 as far as playing the story, and there were actually crashes. There were crashes happening in this game. And granted, you could still do some multiplayer, like 30 frames per second, like 720 handheld multiplayer fighting. But it was just like everything else, just when a normal like feature in the game is too much for the console, that says something. And Astral Chain looks interesting, and that's the thing, like I think the Switch would really benefit if they had a lot more hardware being put into it, like much more graphical work. I understand that they don't really have much like real estate to do that, but maybe that might be like why they're gonna have like the Switch Plus, where the thing's gonna be a pain in the ass to play like handheld, but docked, it's clean. You gonna get Astral Chain? Here's the thing, like I really admire Platinum Games for their finesse in like in style and presentation. But I'm gonna have to just kind of like hard observe that game for now, because there isn't anything in the game that makes it kind of unique from other games that they've tried out before, as far as like the combat, just like from a glance. I'm pretty sure there's a lot more like in-depth stuff going on about it, but I don't know. Like I'm still unsure about that game. That's why I feel it's probably gonna look really good, but there's got to be more to it. They have so many more on like the game before I actually like really think about it. It can, as far as I know, it can be a Bandai Namco game. It's a like boom, an anime fighting game that lasts for about like maybe 3 months or a year, and then everyone stops talking about it. I'm sorry, My Hero Academia More Injustice Who? And then they're also coming out with the One Punch Man game, which looks cool and all, but it's probably not going to be like well remembered. The only memorable game right now is Dragon Ball FighterZ, and that's it. Or sorry, Dragon Ball Fighters. That's what it's just called. And even then, it's just kind of like it has its own niche audience, really. But the Kill la Kill one on Switch, yeah, unfortunately, that one might just be forgotten too, because it's just like, what? One pen looks like one Justice, but I'll probably buy it, still buy it. Well, hey, they did their job. They've done a fantastic job in just getting your attention to do that. I just realized there's an actual 10-second delay on the stream versus what you guys are seeing. That's kind of crazy. Nearly exact. Wow, I can't believe. Well, I was just saying, like, wow, I can't believe that there's literally no one here for the podcast. But hey, I appreciate everyone who's been kind of like putting things down. Shout out to Mark and Tyrone for really just carrying the conversation on the other side. Especially as I kind of talk about things that I can't really like elaborate too much on, like what's happening next weekend. And I already talked about the fact that I'm going to do Comic-Con, but I don't know if I can really do like a live stream podcast like I did with Vegas, where that was kind of like, wow, that's a lot of good internet speed. Good on you, Vegas. But I'm not sure about San Diego having the same thing. Because I know that we tried doing that at Seffi's place, and for some reason we were still having issues with that. Oh, but yeah. One Punch Man, yeah, I read that. Kill la Kill is being made by Arc Systems, who do fighters. I actually didn't know that Arc Systems was actually going to help out with this one. But at the same time, like, Arc Systems is, God bless them. But even then, like, they still need to make sure that the game stands out, otherwise it does end up becoming forgotten. I remember, well, I mean, there's a lot of niche audience for fighting games, so I shouldn't say that, and there's some games that are not so represented but still have that community base going for it, so there's something for everyone. TLDR. yeah. Alright, well, I'm finding myself a lot harder for me to like really talk because I've been talking nonstop and I only had like one swig of water. But hey, like One Punch Man is getting a fighter. Hey, they did fighters, so I have hope, and yes, it is. They did announce recently just like different villains that are gonna be playable. What's funny is the fact that like with Saitama, like when you play as him, he doesn't really like show physical damage being taken, but I'm pretty sure. Drink some water. I'm going to do that, but I'm going to end the podcast here. It's been really nice just kind of having almost like a one-on-one talk almost. But yeah, pretty much expand on everything. So yeah, Ruby is looking clean. They just need to polish up like their story and everything like that, and they're good on that. Far From Home was great. Fire Force and Dr. Stone. We'll watch that. We'll talk about that later. And we will expand upon Far From Home later. Anyone who sees the posters for Netflix The Witcher, that looks pretty clean. It's also kind of weird, but I respect Henry Cavill and I like The Witcher, so be in tune for that. I just read Mark's physical damage comment, but yeah, they said that one of the animators is coming back for. I'm sorry, what the fuck is that shorting? I'll read that after you've made like elaboration on that. They got volume 7. I was like VOOO. I was like, oh, what is this? And they got 2 new writers. Well, I hope the hell that they do well with those 2 writers. But yeah, all right, I'm gonna end here. So thank you guys so much for tuning in for this podcast. I left a link above for the June vlog, so you guys can stick around for that if you haven't watched that already. Otherwise, continue watching Human Fall Flat and stay tuned for impressions on Fire Force and Dr. Stone coming out real soon. We'll try to get some like videos on like our thoughts of expanding on Far From Home as far as like the spoilers at the end and everything like that. And I think we're due to do a talk on Toy Story 4, so we'll see about that. But yeah, alright, so thank you guys so much for watching, and I guess I'll see you guys in the next video. #bye everyone.